I am Misa Amane. So nice to see you here. You are on Martina Schober's art channel. So cool. And do you know my boyfriend, Light Yagami? He is such a cutie. Do you agree? You don't? Okay. So, what's your name again?
Okay, first of all, please excuse my terrible acting. I just wanted to sit down, chat with you a little bit, and try something new. And honestly, I thought, if not for this topic, then when? Because the theme for the next Eclipse art auction is anime and manga. And right now I'm working on a fan art painting of none other than Misa Amane from Death Note. One of the most iconic characters out there, and one I've loved since I was a teenager. I thought, why not go all in and do a tiny bit of cosplay in quotes. I didn't buy anything new or fancy, but I did find an old corset. I thought, you know what? Let's make this fun. It's always exciting to bring that little bit of character energy into the painting process. As I mentioned earlier, this piece is for the anime and manga auction, which will take place from November 14th to 16th on Facebook, hosted by Studio Eclipse Art Auctions. I am so thrilled because this is actually the first auction I've ever been part of, and the first time I've created something specifically for that case. Back in October, I had a chance to make a painting for the Witchlit group show where I painted witches in literature. That experience was amazing. But this new project feels very special to me. It's kind of like reconnecting with my roots. Because honestly, choosing just one anime character to paint was really difficult. I grew up surrounded by anime and manga. They were my whole world. I read so many manga series as a kid, and that's truly what inspired me to start drawing and painting in the first place. Looking back, I'm still so grateful for that. Those books, those TV series, they opened the door for me into the entire world of art. And now it's been, over 20 years now? Time really flies. So yeah, picking just one anime or manga was not an easy task. There are just so many incredible ones out there. These days I don't watch or read as much, unlike my husband who still absolutely loves anime. But I wanted to go back to the classic, and Death Note just felt perfect. I mean, who doesn't know Death Note? The story is just so brilliant. The whole concept of the notebook, the intense rivalry between Light Yagami and L, the god complex that Light develops right from the beginning, and then, of course, the Shinigami, and Misa, her love, her pain, her loyalty, and that heartbreaking moment when Ram sacrifices herself for Misa. It's such a powerful, unforgettable scene. So I decided to dedicate this painting to her, to Misa's beauty, her strength, and also the darkness that surrounds her. But now back to the painting process. As you can see, I'm still deep in the watercolor phase. I started with very light washes in the background because I wanted a slightly rustic, moody atmosphere. Something that adds depth but doesn't distract from the main subject. I also decided to include some peonies because, well, I absolutely love flowers. I wanted them to feel delicate and subtle, almost like a soft whisper behind the character, so that Misa can really shine in the center of the composition. I am working with non-rewettable watercolors. which allow me to build up many layers without lifting the previous ones. On the face alone, I think I've done about 6 or 7 layers, maybe even more. You might not notice every single one in the video, since some of them are very subtle, but all those transparent layers together really help me achieve that sense of realism and depth I'm going for. The hair looks quite strong and bold right now. I know, but trust me, once everything else is balanced, it's going to come together beautifully. Ever since my first watercolor video here on this channel, I have completely fallen back in love with this medium. There's just something magical about the way watercolor captures light. Sure, the drying times can be a bit long, but honestly, I just take my hairdryer and speed up the process a little. It works perfectly fine. I really love how watercolors let me play with luminosity and transparency, but at the same time, I want to make sure my painting have depth and shadow, so I always start light, layering slowly and carefully until the painting starts to feel three-dimensional. I think it's working really well so far. I'm especially happy with how the hair turned out and the face too. Oh, and the apple. I just love it. It looks so real and juicy. I could almost take a bite out of it. Another part I am especially proud of, which you will see a bit later in the process, are the lace sleeves. They took forever, but they were totally worth it. I designed them myself because I absolutely love painting lace and small, intricate details. It's definitely time consuming and it requires a lot of focus. But honestly, it's something I could do for hours without getting bored. In the background, I also added some watercolor splashes, just for a bit of texture and energy. And then I am going to enhance them with red tones. Maybe make them look a little bit more dramatic, a little bit bloodier, to fit the whole Death Note mood. And about the lace, seriously, if you gave me the choice between painting simple clothing or something full of detail as lace, I'd pick the lace every single time. It's slow, meditative work, but it's fascinating and beautiful. I could honestly paint lace every day at any hour. So yeah, that's where I'm with this piece right now. I'm taking my time, enjoying every step, and I can't wait to show you how it turns out in the end. But first, tell me in the comments, do you watch anime or read manga? If yes, which one are your favorites? I'd really love to know. Enjoy the rest of the watercolor painting part before moving on with colored pencils. See you soon! So the watercolor layer is finally finished, and now we are moving on to colored pencils. And honestly, I just love working with them. They are such a fantastic way to add those fine details that really make a piece pop. For this drawing, I am using my all-time favorite pencils again: Faber-Castell Polychromos, Caran d'Ache Luminance, and the Derwent Lightfast. I just adore how smooth they blend and how vibrant they look over watercolor. And of course, the light fastness. Before I even started, I spent a little time organizing all my pencils. They have been in my Polychromos case in a complete jumble for way too long. So I thought it was finally time to get them sorted. Honestly, taking a few minutes to organize your tools can make such a difference. It puts you in the right mindset, makes your work feel more intentional, and you won't have to hunt for the perfect shade in the middle of a creative flow, which sometimes, trust me, breaks the vibe. Looking at the painting now, you can already see a lot of depth from the watercolor alone. And what's amazing is that everything you see here, except for the very first pencil strokes I started adding, comes purely from laying the watercolor down. That's something I really love about watercolors. If you take your time, build up washes, and think about light and shadow, you can create so much depth and dimension without touching a pencil at all. It's slower than jumping straight in with pencils, but the effect is so rewarding. That said, I just can't resist adding more details. I love details. They are what really bring a painting to life. When I'm focusing on her face, I want her expression to be soft, delicate, and innocent, and I think the little highlights in her eyes are absolutely essential for that. Eyes are, of course, the window to the soul, and in anime or manga style, they are often the most expressive part of a character. Just a tiny glint or reflection can completely change how someone reads the character emotionally. Then there's the hair. Oh, I just love painting hair. I'm layering a bunch of different tones here. A soft light turquoise, some rose shades, a few blues, and even touches of a brown and yellow. I even added a punchy yellow to give it a slightly fun punky vibe. It's amazing how hair can completely transform a character. And honestly, I have to say, I've completely fallen in love with how her hair is turning out. It's those layers, those subtle gradients, that makes it feel alive and flowing. The apple. I was already happy with how it looked after the watercolor, but I wanted to make it pop a little more. So I added extra light reflections with colored pencils just to enhance the juiciness and make it look even more three-dimensional. You know, it's funny. Sometimes you think a part of your painting is already finished, and then a few small, thoughtful strokes can elevate it to a whole new level. That's the magic of colored pencils on top of watercolor. They let you refine highlights and perfect little details. Now, for this piece, I'm using Saunders Waterford 300 grams hot pressed watercolor paper. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this paper. It's smooth enough that colored pencils glide on beautifully over watercolor without the strokes looking rough, which is exactly what I want. Cold pressed paper is amazing for texture, but it doesn't give you the same control when layering colored pencils on top. For any piece combining watercolor and pencil, hot pressed is my go-to, no question. Next, I moved on to smaller details like the bow. I just can't resist adding cute little touches like this. Bows, ribbons, frills, they are so characteristic in manga and anime, especially for female characters. They add charm, personality, and movement, and I think they are a small detail that really make a character feel alive. I love how little details like this can completely change the mood of a painting. Then there's the corset. I've always loved wearing corsets and corset style dresses. When I was younger, almost all my anime and manga girls wore them. I was fascinated by how they could shape a character's silhouette and add elegance, drama, or even a bit of mystery. After finishing the main parts, I always step back and look at the whole painting. I ask myself, what's missing? What could make this composition stronger? That's when I realized the background, especially the watercolor peonies, wasn't quite hitting the mark for me. So I brought in colored pencils there too. Since the area wasn't heavily painted with watercolor, the pencil strokes are visible. But after applying, I smoothed the pencil strokes out with odorless mineral spirit. Throughout the whole process, I'm constantly balancing the soft, dreamy quality of watercolor with the precision and vibrancy of colored pencils. It's such a fun experiment, seeing how the two mediums interact and how one can enhance the other. Every stroke is an opportunity to adjust, refine, and add life to the piece. Honestly, moments like these, when I'm completely immersed in the painting, thinking about colors, layers, light, and tiny details, are why I love creating art so much. It's a slow, meditative, joyful process, and the best part, there's always room to experiment, make mistakes, and discover something new in every piece.
Oh, you are back? But how? I thought light has. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. You didn't give me your full name. So, what are we gonna do about it? First of all, I think you should check out this amazing portrait Martina did. And let her know in the comments. So, behave. And we are going to see us next time. Stay safe.